during the remote hours of the night, when a loud and bright storm shook the sky. Lightning touched down just below the top of Push Peak near Push Ridge in Oro Valley, Arizona. The sparks would cause something that would not only consume the trees and brush that surrounded the area, but also the attention of the local population. The fire would go on to spread throughout the mountain, killing everything in its path. By 11 a.m., the fire was slowly climbing down the mountain, but thanks to the brave firemen, the fire was being faced head-on. I found myself fixated on what was happening and had to see it for myself. When we arrived, I was quick to find similar people looking at the same thing I was. We met up with two people with very different opinions on what was happening around them.
Yeah, we're here inside of a community that's actually a number of neighborhoods, and saw the lightning last night and woke up this morning to seeing fire on the ridges up here. And a number of the folks that live in our neighborhood, which is just down the street here, are pretty concerned, and I wanted to come out and see firsthand how close the fire was, and it's dangerously close.
Yeah, it's our first time looking this. We have 1 year living here in this area, and
you're not nervous?
No, not nervous. No, not too much.
Around 5 p.m. on Saturday, we went back to where we had last seen the fire. There, we found that the side of the mountain had turned black and seemed to be burning more than before. By this time, 2 hotshot teams had arrived on scene. We weren't able to get an interview from them, but we were able to pick up some random radio chatter.
One last inquiry, if there is a VLAT, it will be available for all next year. You got some other guys free?
Many people assumed that the fire would be out before the day was finished, but that would not be the case. By nightfall, the fire, now called Bighorn fire, had burned 200 acres in about 24 hours. That night, the fire became more and more visible and looked like something you'd see in a Hollywood production. Due to darkness, I was only able to capture pictures in night vision. Night progressed without any major problems, and that morning around 8 a.m. we went back to see what effects the burning flames had on the land. As we approached, the smell of smoke lingered in the air, a smell that wasn't present the day before. This meant that not only was the fire getting closer, but the wind had also changed directions. The fire had now split into 2 parts, one north of our location near Dead Horse Canyon, and the second right above us, slowly climbing down to the neighborhoods and surrounding shops. Throughout the day, the now southern portion of the fire slowly waned. We talked to a woman whose family lived close to the remaining portion of the fire near Dead Horse Canyon, and although the fire posed no imminent threat, the worry of her and her community could be seen.
I guess it was Friday night. Friday night is when the storm came and the lightning hit late, but I didn't even know, like it wasn't even a thing. And then Saturday morning, I got up at like maybe 6:30 and I went to go for a run and I saw all the smoke, but I didn't like think much of it because it seemed really far away, and plus there wasn't, I don't know, I guess when I got on my phone that morning to just kind of like scroll through social media stuff, there was nothing on it. So I didn't think that much of it. But I did a 2-hour run. So between like 7 and 9 when I came back, it was a whole different story. It was like the flames were so much closer and everybody was talking about it and everything was going around and people were talking about fire crews coming in. So that's kind of how that was. And then I saw, also I couldn't like find news on it. I just found like social media stuff. So that was my source. On that, I saw maybe like around 11, 12, somewhere in there, that they said that it was pretty much out. And I was like, okay, cool, like no big deal. But I was starting to think, man, that's starting to look a lot closer. That could be bad. But it didn't feel concerned. Then you fast forward to Saturday night at like, I don't know, 6 o'clock or something, 7 o'clock, and you could really start to see, no, probably 7. You could start to see some of those flames, and it was continuing to spread, and it was clearly like not out. And also, people were texting me, my mom was calling me, and friends were like, are you okay? Are you okay? I just decided that the best way to like not be scared and not freak out was just to be proactive and put some things together. So we rounded up like birth certificates. The kids picked a few like special things that they felt were irreplaceable, and we just put it in a bin. We put some clothes, like a couple outfits, and that was kind of it. And then we just like, we came outside, we looked at it. I mean, it was lit up, and everybody in the neighborhood was walking around, and it was definitely concerning for sure at that point. And then in the morning, so now we're on Sunday morning, it smelled like a campfire. Like it was, you could just smell it everywhere. There was smoke everywhere. The air quality was terrible. But then, I learned Boulder Ranch Fire Department, they're the ones in the area. Also didn't even know that, so I was wildly uninformed. But they had on their social media like updates, and it said at that point it was like 0% contained, 200 acres, and growing is what it said. And that was this morning at maybe like 7 or something. And then the last time I looked, it was over 1,000 acres growing and still 0% contained. But tonight, it doesn't look anything like it did last night. And I mean, I don't feel, I am concerned for like whatever's happening up there and firefighters and all of that. But as far as our actual home and our neighborhood, I'm not so worried about that.
While we were filming, the fire had been confirmed to have grown immensely. The fire was now in a remote area of the canyon, but little did we know what was to come would be anything but good.